Ah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Alright. Alright. I see. Um. What the actual fuck? I don't even know where to begin on this one, but, hello everybody, my name is Christian, and today we're gonna be doing a very short video, mainly talking about Castorice and her incredible new revive mechanic that has lit the internet on fire. So for those of you who don't know, Castorice is a character who was just announced for version 3.2 alongside Anexa. Castorice is a character who currently appears in Amphorius. She's very popular, she's garnered so much art, so much public approval. Everybody loves Castorice, and rightfully so, I feel. She's a wonderful character. However, so we've reached a bit of a problem with people's excitements, and it's based on that first clip you just saw. And also, I have another clip here. So now let's head over to Reddit. So now this is Anexa. Notice, Anexa is the only character currently on the screen. Let's watch this. And once again is resurrected. So that's the problem. So allow me to actually explain a bit of what's going on. Based on a bunch of leaks we just saw, Castorice is going to have something called the Lunar Cocoon. This ability will essentially make it so that if any party member is downed, if they are healed or given a shield by before the start of their next turn, they will be resurrected with however much HP or whatever. They'll come back to life, and this works once. This works exactly once. I don't remember if it's per party member or if it's just per battle once, but either way, it happens at least once. So, this is honestly not a bad thing, I feel. I think that's actually a pretty cool mechanic. The problem is how exactly people are getting said mechanic. Based on what a bunch of leaks have said, and keep in mind, these are leaks, and I would like to clarify, I think talking about leaks is stupid. The reason I say that is because, in a lot of cases, Star Rail will change how the characters work until it is like 2 weeks before their release, or until they are the exact next character in line. Obviously, I'm around leaks a lot because that's simply the avenue that I'm in. I can't really avoid them even if I wanted to, so unfortunate, but I stay updated. And I have seen constantly characters change from how they were originally presented. An example of this would be Fugue, who went through quite a few changes, and Anexa, who actually got a few different changes based on what his initial kit was. These are both more minor examples because it is all stuff relating to their kits, their overall power output, a bunch of other stuff. None of them offered a passive ability like this, the ability to actually resurrect your character. So the reason we kind of want to talk about this today and why so many people are losing their mind is because this ability is supposedly tied to Castorice, meaning players who pull Castorice are the only ones who get this, and it is a just huge buff overall. However, I don't think that would be that bad. The real issue stems from the fact Castorice doesn't have to be in your party to proc it. As you all saw with the Anexa clip, Castorice was nowhere to be found, but that was an account that had Castorice on it. Yeah. That's not good. I would like to say, once again, as I've already mentioned how I feel about leaks, I really hope that somehow leakers are getting this wrong, or even more hopefully, Star Rail will simply change it, because I think there is a very simple way to rectify this issue, and I think it can just be make a scene where Castorice essentially bestows a blessing onto your Trailblazer, and therefore, all players will get this account-wide buff, and it just has to be unlocked through the story. Very simple change, And that way, you're not locking a premium feature behind a premium character that will go to your entire account, and not everybody will have it. I feel like this is not a hard change to ask for, and I truthfully hope that this is simply just either somehow a massive misunderstanding or just the technical team not being done with their part of their work with designing the characters and implementing how they're gonna work. I really hope that that's the case. Man, there really isn't much to say about this. It's just so insane that we're even at this point. And I understand why people are so concerned about it, and I understand why there is so much panic about it. Because seriously, what? Adding a global passive, but limiting it to a character being on your account in a game that prioritizes, or in a game that kinda, like, they want you to have every character, they want you to spend money, but the way the game works is like, oh, well, if you're not gonna spend, then, you know, you either get this guy or this guy, and you can kind of build your teams around that, you know, you're building your favorite team, and maybe this character will be better, so you get them. But when one character gives you an account-wide buff, that's just insane. That feels like a non-negotiable. And beyond all that, we need to talk about the probably worst part of this global passive. It's not the fact that it's tied to one character and it goes for your entire account when you don't even have the character in your team. It is the fact that reportedly it works in harder game modes. It works in endgame content. You can proc this revive in Memory of Chaos, Pure Fiction, and Apocalyptic Shadow. That's wild. I think more so is that if this information is somehow being reported wrong in any way, and the Lunar Cocoon will activate regardless of if you get healed, like, you'll come back up even if you don't get healed, something like that is just, I'm gonna be honest, like, there's no other way to put this. This is a Zero Cycler's wet dream. Like, they can die during the run, and finally they can just get back up. It's like, I will say, overall, like, I'm definitely exaggerating quite a bit, and I truthfully do think we're all kind of taking this a bit too much, because, yes, getting a free revive in a battle without having to have it on your healer when something like that is tied specifically to Bailu and Bailu alone, having a free revive is nice. However, in most cases, if you lose your character, you are probably going to have to reset for the hard content either way. For something like a boss battle, maybe, that could still be helpful, but also boss battles are not the main content form in this game. A lot of people are looking at the hard content, the endgame content, MOC, Apocalyptic Shadow, Pure Fiction, that stuff. I do think something like this can be beneficial for that, like, immensely. But also, I do think it could also be relatively kind of just a nothing burger for quite a few players. It really depends a lot. But the main source of the outrage is still valid, because in a game where power creep is already immense, and they are trying to address power creep, they're buffing old characters, they're actively trying to work on it, the fact that you decide to actively combat that with old characters, making them better ideally, and then immediately afterward, you decide that making a global passive exclusive to one character and you can't get it otherwise, that makes zero sense. That is ridiculous and an insane line of thinking. I don't know, this is just kind of something that is hard to take in, and I do think we all need to calm down, because I do feel like there is a high chance that either they will change it, or it might be an account-wide thing. At least that is the believer in me choosing to say that. I'm not quite sure how accurate that's going to be, but I want to be hopeful at the very least. So I think we just need to wait it out a little bit more. It's like, I didn't want to make this video per se, but everyone in my Discord has been talking about it. I've gotten DMs about it. Even my guys from even some of my guys from school mentioned it. It's like, oh god, it's everywhere. And as much as I don't want to talk about this sort of stuff, mainly because I feel like it kind of will ruin the experience for players in the future, or people who are just like trying to enjoy the game passively, so they're trying to stay surprised by all these things. I do think it's worth talking about to shed kind of light on the situation and to really just express the actual concern that so many players are having right now, because this just doesn't feel right, truth be told. I don't know, that is, again, I just wanted to do my part. That is my thoughts on the situation for the most part, so I'm curious to see how everyone else feels. I've seen some people who think that this is perfectly fine, and again, I can understand it both ways, but overall, I don't think that this is a positive. I do think this can be very unfair in the grand scheme of things, so if you guys have any thoughts, leave them down below. I'm always happy to hear what you guys have to say, and I'm really curious what people have to say about this sort of thing. But, hope you guys enjoyed. I got a bunch more just kind of conversational type videos coming out soon, so I hope you'll enjoy those, and yeah. Hope everybody's looking forward to pulling for Castorice. Yippee. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.